Hello, Jarvis here. Welcome to the Jarvis Finance Channel. Today, I'm going to be discussing a topic that I know you're all going to love. We're going to dive deep into the mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto, the enigmatic creator of Bitcoin. I know many of you are curious, and there are countless articles claiming to have uncovered Satoshi's true identity, but I can assure you, those claims are all false. Here on this channel, you'll find 100% accurate facts and data. Who could this person be? Let's go. We're going to delve into the mystery surrounding a figure whose identity remains a riddle to this day. No one knows who they are or where they are. They are the creator of Bitcoin and the pioneer of the blockchain concept that has gained increasing popularity over the past decade. This individual is known by the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. If they are still alive, their Bitcoin holdings would be worth an estimated $102,245,000,000 US dollars, based on their ownership of 1,100,000 BTC as of January 14, 2025. Here, I will recount their emergence and introduction of Bitcoin to the world, as well as how they ultimately vanished, leaving the Bitcoin network in our hands. To this day, countless efforts have been made to uncover the true identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, but after a decade, no one has succeeded. Let's begin the story of Satoshi and their Bitcoin. Before we dive in, let's touch upon the history of the idea behind the technology we know as blockchain and cryptocurrency. Let's rewind to 1998, when the Asian monetary crisis was in full swing, shaking up countries like Thailand, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore. At that time, a cryptographer named Wei Dai proposed an idea called B-Money in a cypherpunk forum. This proposal was for an anonymous electronic payment system without a third-party intermediary, where all transactions were recorded in an open database accessible to all network participants. Sounds very similar to Bitcoin, doesn't it? This was the reference that Satoshi Nakamoto cited in the original Bitcoin document, making Wei Dai one of the suspects as Satoshi Nakamoto. Following Wei Dai, several other cryptographers and computer scientists also developed concepts for electronic money using decentralized systems. These included DigiCash by David Chaum, BitGold by Nick Szabo, Hashcash by Adam Back, and RPOW by Hal Finney. However, none of these concepts were ever seriously implemented in a technically robust way, and none provided a thorough explanation of how such a digital currency could function. Finally, on October 31st, 2008, a mysterious figure named Satoshi Nakamoto proposed an improvement to the concept of digital currency by uploading a short document to the cryptography mailing list forum. This document later became known as the Bitcoin White Paper. As a side note, what exactly is this mailing list forum? Why did Satoshi choose to upload the first Bitcoin document there? The mailing list is known as an online discussion forum that has been around since 1992. It's a gathering place for world-class cryptographers, cybersecurity experts, and computer scientists to discuss and share knowledge on various topics related to cryptography and cybersecurity. For a long time, the mailing list has been a gathering place for the most brilliant minds from around the world who are experts in digital security. This is a forum that accommodates a community of intelligent people who deal with online scams, computer viruses, hackers, and various digital threats on a daily basis. You could say that the mailing list community is a group of people who are very careful and not easily swayed by the words of others. And Satoshi Nakamoto chose this forum as the birthplace of Bitcoin. This document, a mere 9 pages containing 2,736 words, was concise yet packed with information. The language was effective but technical, making it accessible only to those who were well-versed in cryptography and computer science at the time. Within this document, Satoshi explained the creation of an electronic payment mechanism built upon a trustless system. What does this mean? Fundamentally, the financial industry is built on trust. Financial institutions, such as banks, insurance companies, and so on, can operate because we have faith in their reputation and track record. We are willing to entrust them with our money because we believe they possess integrity and their employees act professionally. This is known as a trust system. Satoshi recognized a significant flaw in this trust system that needed to be addressed. The trust system assumes that humans managing the financial system operate with complete professionalism, are always honest and trustworthy, or act without personal interests. In reality, this assumption doesn't always hold true. We must acknowledge that humans are prone to weaknesses, negligence, carelessness, require rest, and often have personal interests that drive them to enrich themselves. This is the vulnerability of the trust system. Humans are not always honest. There are corrupt individuals, those who sell customer data, and so on. Therefore, Satoshi created a system that didn't require trust in humans or centralized companies. This is what is called a trustless system. The transaction verification system within Bitcoin operates automatically, without the need for companies or reliance on individuals tasked with safeguarding the system. As a result, the trustless system created by Satoshi doesn't require faith in humans with all their vulnerabilities. This system runs autonomously, 24 hours a day, without breaks, holidays, or susceptibility to corruption or human error. It prioritizes automatic verification and auditing through algorithms. This is the essence of a trustless system. 10 days after the Bitcoin document was published, Satoshi uploaded the Bitcoin code formula to SourceForge.net, a platform for open-source software, making it accessible to anyone in the world to read, verify, and analyze the Bitcoin concept down to its core. Then, on January 3, 2009, Satoshi activated the Bitcoin network for the first time, where the first block was mined by Satoshi Nakamoto themselves. This was the first block of Bitcoin, and interestingly, in the lower right corner, there's a sentence that reads, "Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks." This sentence is the headline of a British newspaper called The Times, published on the same day, January 3, 2009. The purpose of this inclusion was to prove that the first Bitcoin block was not created before that date. Additionally, the choice of a British newspaper indicates that Satoshi may have been in the UK at the time. Interestingly, the chosen headline seems to be a satire of the modern financial system, where many financial institutions, especially banks, collapsed after the 2008 crisis, caused by the greed of real estate agents and investment managers who gambled the financial market based on mortgages in America, which were very unhealthy. The word bailout, or government assistance, is itself one of the most embarrassing things in the financial business, because it means that financial institutions cannot be held professionally accountable to the point where they need government bailouts. After the first Bitcoin block was successfully mined on January 9, 2009, the Bitcoin software became operable by anyone for the first time. Of course, at its initial launch, only a handful of people were aware of Bitcoin, mostly software engineers and cryptographers. 2 days after the Bitcoin launch, a cryptographer named Hal Finney posted on Twitter, "Running Bitcoin," considered the oldest tweet mentioning Bitcoin. Strangely, a day later, on January 12, 2009, the first Bitcoin transaction took place in block number 170, where Satoshi sent 10 Bitcoin to Hal Finney as a test transaction. The fact that Hal Finney was the first person besides Satoshi to mine and receive Bitcoin directly from Satoshi himself fueled much speculation. Who was Hal Finney? Could he have been Satoshi in disguise? It's plausible that a developer would test the system internally. What if Satoshi sent Bitcoin to themselves? It's certainly possible, and to this day, many still believe that Hal Finney may have been Satoshi Nakamoto. A month later, in February 2009, Satoshi created a dedicated forum for Bitcoin enthusiasts called bitcointalk.org. For the following year, this forum served as the primary platform where Satoshi Nakamoto actively engaged with the Bitcoin community, largely composed of software engineers. Here, the fundamental understanding of Bitcoin was disseminated, tested, and verified by cryptographers. Gradually, some Bitcoin enthusiasts began contributing to the network by becoming Bitcoin miners. During this period, Bitcoin had no established price, so the active community on the forum hadn't yet considered the possibility of Bitcoin's price skyrocketing. Most of them were computer experts simply experimenting with an intriguing project. Finally, in December 2009, Bitcoin was converted to fiat currency, US dollars, For the first time, at that point, $1 was equivalent to 1.3 million Bitcoin. Since then, the price of Bitcoin has fluctuated wildly and experienced significant growth. At the time of this video's creation, Bitcoin reached $92,950. What is the price of Bitcoin in Indian rupees as you watch this video? After a year passed, throughout 2010, Satoshi continued to be active on the Bitcoin Talk forum. Even more so, he sent emails to several developers and active members of the forum such as Hal Finney, Gavin Anderson, Marty Malmy, Jeff Garzik, and Mike Hearn. For additional information, in cryptographic and cybersecurity forums, having an anonymous identity or using a pseudonym is common. Throughout 2010, Satoshi actively taught and explained the concept of Bitcoin to the Bitcoin community. Because the price of Bitcoin at that time was still very cheap, no one imagined that in the future Satoshi would become a big figure whose identity was searched by people from all over the world. Until now, many digital traces of Satoshi's communication on Bitcoin Talk's own forum. You can find the archive of Satoshi's talks from November 2009 to December 2010. In this period of about a year, Satoshi sent messages and replied to comments actively on the community forum with 575 messages. Satoshi is very active, and if you notice, all his statements are in perfect English, with no typos or typos at all. Finally, in December 2010, something happened that made Satoshi slowly begin to disappear. For those who may remember, in 2010, there was a leak of confidential data of the United States military by a group of hackers published on a site called WikiLeaks. Throughout 2010, WikiLeaks leaked various confidential data of the United States military relating to war crimes and human rights violations in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. This leak, of course, attracted the attention of the media and the international community, instantly making all United States intelligence networks hunt for the brains behind the hackers and managers of the WikiLeaks site. For the public, WikiLeaks is considered a hero who provides public transparency, while for the United States, WikiLeaks is a criminal who must be arrested immediately. And surprisingly, WikiLeaks announced that they would accept donations in the form of Bitcoin as one way to support their organization's finances. This was done because WikiLeaks needed a transfer medium that did not require any third-party authority. This news was, of course, very surprising for the Bitcoin community. On the one hand, Bitcoin began to gain popularity thanks to the announcement of WikiLeaks, which was highly noticed by the media. On the other hand, Interpol and the CIA began hunting members of the Bitcoin community who allegedly had connections with the site manager WikiLeaks, which was being hunted by the United States law enforcement. On December 11, 2010, Satoshi expressed his concerns on the Bitcoin Talk forum, saying that Interpol and the CIA might investigate the Bitcoin community due to possible community involvement with WikiLeaks. One day later, on December 12, 2010, Satoshi Nakamoto sent his last public message on the Bitcoin Talk forum, stating that he would focus on other projects. That was Satoshi's last public imprint to the community. However, after further investigation to active community members, it was discovered that throughout 2011, Satoshi still occasionally sent emails to key people in the Bitcoin community whom he trusted. On April 7, 2011, Satoshi sent an email to Mike Hearn saying that he had moved on to another project and handed over this project to Gavin Anderson and others. On April 23, 2011, Satoshi transferred the entire forum domain and Bitcoin-related website to the community. And the last email trace from Satoshi was on April 26, 2011 to Gavin Anderson, his last message until now. No one knows the identity of Satoshi or the location of his whereabouts. In his profile, Satoshi once claimed that he was a Japanese born on April 5, 1975, but from his communication pattern using very fluent English, almost everyone doubted that he was Japanese. One of the forum participants once analyzed the timing of Satoshi's activities and concluded that it was likely that Satoshi was in America from the beginning. Since Satoshi's disappearance, many attempts have been made by police, journalists, and researchers to discover Satoshi's identity. One such investigation was conducted by Newsweek in 2014, investigating a man named Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto who lives in California, who works on secret defense projects and computer expert for financial information services. However, Dorian Nakamoto has repeatedly denied that he is Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. In this investigation, many members of the Bitcoin community argued that Dorian was not the Satoshi figure they knew. In the midst of this investigation, surprisingly, Satoshi's account returned active and sent a message, indicating that Dorian may not be the real Satoshi. One important indication is that Dorian's residence is not far from the residence of one of the Bitcoin developers, namely Hal Finney. There are theories that suggest that Hal Finney may have inspired the name Satoshi Nakamoto from a neighbor or someone who lives near his residential neighborhood. Hal Finney is the strongest candidate among all theories trying to uncover who Satoshi is, ranging from the fact that he was the first miner of Bitcoin, the first Bitcoin recipient of Satoshi himself, to someone trying to analyze Satoshi's uptime and Hal Finney's hobbies running marathons where Satoshi's posting time was reduced during the period. However, there was one unsuitable period, which was on April 18, 2009, in which there was a marathon race participated by Hal Finney. While the race was taking place, Satoshi was sending an email to Mike Hearn. In addition, there was a Bitcoin transaction confirmed at the same time as the race. Unfortunately, Hal Finney had died in 2014 due to a neurological disease that had left him paralyzed. Another strong candidate is a computer expert named Nick Szabo. The basis of the speculation is due to the similarity of the way of thinking and the concept of a digital currency named BitGold that he created even before Bitcoin was proposed by Satoshi. The concepts described in BitGold and Nick Szabo's thinking are very similar to Bitcoin, such as the concept of decentralization, proof of work, and the concept of public ledger in the form of blockchain. Some linguists also strongly suspect that Nick Szabo is Satoshi because they have similarities of writing style, sentence structure, and also word selection. In fact, Elon Musk, who was once active in the world of computer science, stated in a podcast that he believes Nick Szabo is Satoshi.
Well, I mean, you can look at the evolution of ideas before the launch of Bitcoin and see who wrote about those ideas. And then I don't know exactly, obviously I don't know who created Bitcoin for practical purposes, but the evolution of ideas is pretty clear before that. And it seems as though Nick Szabo is probably more than anyone else responsible for the evolution of those ideas.
However, Nick Szabo repeatedly denied that he is Satoshi. But interestingly, Nick Szabo himself admits that there were only 3 people in the world he knew were interested in the idea of decentralized currencies. The first was Wei Dai, the second was Hal Finney, and the third was himself. Until finally the figure of Satoshi Nakamoto appeared in 2008. And recently, HBO released a documentary titled Money Electric, The Bitcoin Mystery on October 8, 2024. This documentary features interviews with several figure keys in Bitcoin world, including Adam Back, cryptographer and CEO of Blockstream, known to be the first person contacted by Satoshi Nakamoto; Roger Ver, Bitcoin entrepreneur and investor often referred to as Bitcoin Jesus; Peter Todd, Bitcoin core developer. Satoshi Nakamoto, according to HBO. The documentary highlights Peter Todd as a leading candidate for Satoshi Nakamoto, although Todd denied the claim, calling it ludicrous. Hoback uses several pieces of circumstantial evidence, such as Todd's early interactions with Satoshi on Bitcoin forums, writing style, and involvement in Bitcoin development, to build the theory. Sometimes, it's better to leave some things a mystery. Satoshi Nakamoto, with their identity shrouded in secrecy, has gifted the world an extraordinary legacy, Bitcoin. This innovation has revolutionized how we view finance and technology, and it has empowered us to protect our wealth from inflation. See you guys in the next video. Last one, guys. Before uploading, I checked, and Bitcoin's price today went up to 104,834 USD. I'm totally sure it'll climb to its peak at 150K in November, December 2025. That's it. Bye. That's all.